Hello, guys. Welcome to another episode of the Commerce Lab by Ecomcy, the place of everything related to Amazon FBA and e-commerce. My name is Vincenzo Toscano, founder and CEO of Ecomcy, and today we bring you a very special guest. His name is Jeremiah Chambers, who is the VP of Sales and Partnerships at Datahawk, which is actually an amazing tool when it comes to help you manage your Amazon and Walmart business profitable. And I think is going to be an amazing episode because I think Datahawk is an amazing tool. You have so many features that other softwares don't have. And I think this episode is to highlight why Amazon and Walmart sellers now should actually start using this on the daily operations. So, Jeremiah, it's a pleasure to have you here today. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great, Vincenzo. Thank you very much for having me.
It's a pleasure. I think we actually met for the first time in person in October in AmaFest in Brighton.
Yeah.
We even took a selfie together. It was an amazing event. I think so much knowledge there, and I enjoy connecting with you. And we had a great conversation about Amazon Live and things like that. But I think at the same time, when I discovered what you guys do and playing around with the tool, I mean, I think I thought to myself, I definitely need to have you guys. I think you guys have so many features and technology that Amazon sales should be using, and that's the purpose of this episode. Now, before we jump into that, I usually like to use the first couple of minutes to know, to give a bit of background on my guests, especially for my listeners in case they want to learn more about you. So, give me a brief introduction. Who's Jeremiah? How you jump into e-commerce, and what made you jump into Datahawk to be the VP there? Yeah.
Yeah. No, good question. So for me, I've got a background mainly in technology. I've worked with a lot of different businesses, many of which that had e-commerce arms. They were, whether they're doing direct to consumer, a lot of them that did have that Amazon or Walmart arm or working through eBay as well. So working really closely with them, developed this real passion for e-commerce and also had this passion for technology. And luckily, Datahawk kind of found me. And now that I've been here, it's been incredible working with these companies, all ranging from massive aggregators and accelerators down to individual sellers, even some big brands. So it's been really cool so far being able to get involved with that.
Yeah, to be honest, I have seen the growth the company's been having. I mean, you guys are like skyrocketing, so congrats on that. And I think I want to use this as a starting point to one of the first questions most of the time I bet you even get, which is what makes Datahawk different, right? So there are so many software solutions out there, and I think I would like to start highlighting what are some of your key features and how this can benefit, the daily operations of an Amazon or Walmart seller. Yeah, let's start with that.
Yeah. So it's funny. Like I'm going to take this question in a weird direction. You're like, why?
Let's do it.
Because first, I'll tell you, there's a lot of things that you can get from a lot of different tools out there. Standard product tracking, keyword tracking. Certain tools you can get your P&L and you can pull that information in. Some you can get market intelligence. We do all those things extraordinarily well, but all in one tool. But really what makes us different now is the way I look at it is there's a lot of great tools out there for different periods of time. Like when you're just starting out selling or you've been a seller for a little while, and those tools are awesome. But, a lot of times they're kind of pre-built and, you have to fit within that box that's been created for you. One thing that's different with our tool is we kind of build that box around you. What I mean by that is probably the most interesting and popular part about our product right now is something called connections. And it's where we take your aggregated private Amazon data, public Amazon data, and we allow you to push that into a business intelligence tool that you use like Power BI, Tableau. And that means that whoever is, manipulating that data, they can see the dashboard they want to see. They can see the information they want to see, the way they want to see it. And that's helping a lot of these Amazon businesses get really sharp with their data and be able to make a lot better decisions much faster.
Yeah, to be honest, I love this tool because I mean, as you mentioned, all the other software is like a box, a black box you can't really edit or enter into that. And the fact that you guys give that data and then I can use my team and put any kind of a visualization of that data is super powerful, especially because specific companies have different objectives and different ways to analyze, their data, and having that freedom, I mean, is key, especially nowadays in Amazon, that you need to track every single thing to make sure that you are profitable and you're actually going towards what you want to achieve with your Amazon business, right? So, which is amazing. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, bring up profitability. I mean, that's like the hot button right now. Everybody, it's like, hey, we just, fees are going crazy, inflation, my shipping costs, everything has just kind of, gone all crazy over the last year or so. Everyone's focused on that. So as you said, it's absolutely important for a business to hone in on how can I get that little extra 1 or 2%.
Yeah. Now, I also saw a tool that is very interesting for me, especially when you're running an Amazon business. Sometimes it's difficult to keep track of all the things that maybe are not going well in your business, and things that you need to fix and take actually action on that. Otherwise, your business is gonna go under, especially organic ranking, all those things. And I saw that tool is called Intelligence. So it's basically, it give you apparently some insights. You guys use some AI thing. I mean, whenever I say AI, that things is very interesting, especially with my engineering background. So can you give me a bit of insights of what is Intelligence about? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a really cool part of our product that we just got done having a beta with a lot of our existing customers. Now we've stepped it up to this whole new level. So as you said, like every Amazon business has a lot of things to worry about. You're worrying about 1,000 different things at once. And I think everyone really wants to be data driven, but it's hard because you have
difficult.
You got to analyze it, and then you have to make decisions on what do I focus on first? What are my biggest priorities, and what can I execute on? So what Intelligence does is that's going to spoon feed you the top priorities in your business. You'll get all of them really, but it's going to prioritize it for you. It's going to tell you about the biggest anomalies. Specifically, some of them that are interesting is, one, you can kind of find out some good news sometimes. If you maybe if you have a bigger product line and all of a sudden one product starts selling much quicker than it ever has before, you'll get alerted on that. But where the most important part is probably with your ad spend. Is you're getting fed intelligence on your ad spend, live every single day, and you're looking at it and saying, hey, you've invested in this, bidding on this specific keyword, and you're only getting a 0.6 ROAS, right? That's not very profitable. Let's shut down the bad ad spend. Let's increase the good ad spend, and we do both of those for you. Also spotting anomalies with, again, your organic rank, with your any kind of sponsored ads that you're running, and then with product sales as well. So that's one thing with our tool. Like, you can connect your Seller Central account, you connect your advertising account. The more that you have connected, the more insights that you're going to get. But it's really amazing. And actually, we just showed this to a really we just turned this on for a really big aggregator that's a customer of ours. And for someone who has 3,000 products in their lineup,
it's impossible to have all that.
They're like, this is priceless. This is incredible. And it's just been an amazing impact. So thank you for pointing that out. It's a really cool part of our product. We're just now, it's like brand new. So
when I saw it, I was wow, because I haven't seen this before. And I feel especially with Amazon, as you mentioned, when you start going into clients, especially for us as an agency, that you have hundreds of products. I mean, you can have the biggest team in the world, but I mean, data is data. Sometimes it's tricky to have control of every single thing in terms of all the metrics. And when you have something like this that is 24/7 tracking everything, you try to not miss those small details that sometimes can be key for your business, right? So it's super essential for sure.
Yeah. When you combine that with the expertise of like an agency like yours too, it is. I don't want to say it's a guarantee that you're going to do really well, but you're in a really good spot if you do that.
100%. Now let's jump into. I also saw the analytics one. So I also was very impressed with this tool, because most of the analytics tools I have seen out there, they are very basic. I mean, you say the typical KPIs at the end of the day, you can even see within your PPC dashboard or your Amazon account. But this one goes much more deeper. I mean, you can see even things such as your organic ranking, how your listing is performing. I mean, you can go so granular. So talk me a little bit about this tool. I mean, what are some of the key things you will say is really stand out for you from this tool that you say you recommend it for?
Yeah. There's one thing I love about our analytics tool is that you get a very similar experience from you viewing your own data, your own listings compared to competitors. And why I think it's interesting is, something that you always wonder about is if you start bidding on a new keyword, you start investing in some advertising, is what impact does that make for me? Not just on raw sales. How does that impact my ranking? Because ultimately, I think everybody, sponsored rank is great, but organic rank is what you're really going for.
Sure.
It does a really good job of illustrating, what impact those sponsored ads have on your organic rank over time. It does a great job as well of helping you understand, what categories is your product ranking in. Sometimes you'll be surprised if you do a really good job with your listing and optimizing your SEO strategy, is you realize, wow, I just landed in like 2 or 3 other categories I didn't think I would. And then from there, it's kind of takes you to that next step of thinking, okay, maybe there's some other keywords that products like mine are ranking for that I could start to optimize my listing to even, get a little bit more or invest in some ads. But going back to the competitive part is, especially when you're starting out, it's hard. It's very difficult. Your product is, way back in the depths of Amazon. You're not front facing. Amazon does a good job of trying to boost you a little bit in the beginning to give you a little visibility. But looking at a competitor can help you kind of get a little bit of an idea of how you can move your way forward into a much higher ranking. And that's where, if you look at it, you'll see on our dashboard, you'll see the page number, you'll see the listing where it's put at, but you'll see these
it's so detailed. That's why I love it. It gives you everything. Yeah.
Did you see the stars? That's the cool part, because you see, okay, there's a sponsored ad, and then you can see the trailing effect of that sponsored ad, and you can think, okay, like if I follow this kind of ad strategy, here's how I can possibly move my way up. But there's a lot of neat things about it. Something that a lot of customers like is, within that analytics portion as well, is all those good things you get about sponsored rank and organic rank. And then you also have your P&L built into it. And then you can kind of put together all the pieces of the puzzle. Is how am I doing in the market? How am I doing with my product visibility? And then at the end of the day, how is all this affecting my bottom line profitability? Is we try to make it
super important
to see that.
Super important. Very nice. I mean, nowadays, if you don't use a software solution like this and you try to figure it out just with the reports that Amazon gives you, you're gonna make a mistake 100%. I mean, we have tried internally, and I know for a fact that you end up having to use a software solution because so much data and so many data points that you need something that's 24/7 taking that and put it in a nice way for a person that clicks a button and see everything on a dashboard in 1 second, understand what is going on, right? And having to look at thousands of Excels and trying to figure out what is actually happening with your business, right?
Yeah, and it's funny you mentioned it. There's a funny post I saw on LinkedIn the other day. This guy was talking about profit margins. Like, if you have an Amazon business, he's like, if you're at 20% profit margin, you're doing really good. If you're at 30%, you're doing amazing. If you're at 40%, you're doing your P&L wrong.
yeah. I say the same whenever I go to events and stuff, and people say, yeah, my profit is 40-50%. There is something wrong there. Always. Yeah. So now, I mean, you guys offer so many more solutions. One of them, I think we can also briefly touch on that. I saw that you guys offer a support when it comes to the advertisements of things, right? So can you give me a bit of overview? How is that a tool, and what are some of the features? Because I think PPC, I mean, is super important in Amazon. If you don't do PPC nowadays, there isn't really a way you can compete in Amazon. So how Datahawk can help you with your PPC with this tool you guys have within your dashboard?
Yeah. So for that, I would say probably most powerful part of our tool. I know this, no one gets excited when they hear the word reports.
Yeah.
But we have this, sponsored ad recommendation or sponsored bidding recommendation report that is probably the most useful part of it. And it's something that we have agencies that work with us. We have sellers that work with us, and, again, like even larger brands. Most of them look at this and they say this is just a report that you use as a standard to run at a specific interval. Some people do it weekly, some people do it monthly, some people do it, at a much lower level than that. But what it does, it basically breaks down all of your sponsored bids, all of your keywords that you're bidding on, and it literally just tells you what the status of it is. Can't use my words today, and then what action to take. So you'll be able to identify some things really quickly. What we find is we speak to a lot of people and they're like, how are you doing with your advertising strategy? How are you doing with PPC? And they're saying, we're doing okay. I think we've got a pretty good strategy in place. And then we always recommend this report. And I'd say probably about 8 to 9 times out of 10, when we pull this report for the first time and hand it to them, there's always something that shocks them. Is they realize that they have been running a losing strategy on maybe a few keywords and just dumping money into something that's not pulling money back in. And that's been something like we've had specifically people say, well, this just paid for my subscription, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to say that. I mean, most of the time, simple reports like that can tell you a change that's gonna pay for Datahawk, sometimes even for the whole year. So it's a no-brainer.
And that's probably the biggest thing. It's not just the ones that you shut down, but it's the ones that you double down on too. So we had somebody, and this is not normal, by the way. But they had like a 19.1 ROAS. It was insane. For every $1 they're putting in, they're getting $20 back.
Crazy.
I've never seen that before. But it was just, somehow not everyone's going to find this, but this one particular customer found a little money machine, and they just kept putting more money into the ads. And it's been great. Now I haven't checked on that one in a few weeks, so it's probably dipped down a little bit because 19.1 is not sustainable, but
for sure.
It's shocking.
Yeah, that's a very good case study. You should do a case study on that and make it public. Good. Now I also saw, and I think this one, especially for us, I mean, for agencies, and I bet for a lot of Amazon side will be very useful, is a sales estimator. And the reason why I think that's super important is because when you're coming up to things such as Q4, if you don't have a good sales estimator and you try to just, guess it based on numbers and all that, most likely you're gonna go out of stock. If you go out of stock, your listing disappear. If your listing disappear, you lose organic ranking. If you lose organic ranking, that means it's gonna cost you more money when you come back, and that's a snowball effect downwards. And sometimes some people don't even recover. So I think a tool like this is super important. And I saw that you guys even use historical data to do that. So can you give us just a quick, a overview of how the tool works? I mean, I personally think it's a super important tool, sales estimator, for sure.
Yeah. Well, one thing that's important with our sales estimates is you'll always see on ours, there's always a trust index. And the trust index, that is just letting the higher the percentage, the more accurate that we know that number is going to be. And sales estimates are just that. I always have to remind people they're estimates,
Yeah, for sure.
We don't have access to everybody's, private Amazon data. We're not gonna be able to just tell you what it is anyway. That's private. But our sales estimates have been something extremely useful and probably been something that's pulled a lot of new customers towards us. And what we're doing is we are aggregating a lot of that historical data. We're finding, we know how many units are sold. We've got that average price that it's been sold at. We've got historical, buy box prices. We have historical just pricing in general. And we've got extremely intelligent people on the back end of our product that have engineered these great algorithms that put together some very, very good and very accurate sales estimates. And one thing that we do is we are always constantly looking at this and tweaking it and getting feedback from our existing customer base. and some important people in the space as well to see, okay, like, are we even getting closer? Are we getting closer to more accuracy? And it seems to be improving all the time. But that trust index has been impressive because, again, just recently starting off, it was a smaller company. They're doing about $2 million in sales out in the U.S. on the East Coast. We had them on a call not long ago, and that's what they were curious about was sales estimates. So they were saying, let's take a look at mine. They weren't in our system yet. They hadn't demoed this. Let's take a look at mine. And I was nervous because I'm like, okay,
it needs to be close.
If it's accurate, we're good. If it's not, I was like, this guy's gonna totally lose faith in us. And he was like, wow. And I was like, okay, what's after the wow? Is it this is bad, this is good? And he says, this is almost to a penny exact. And
Wow.
I was impressed. I was like, okay, good job, Datahawk data team, because that's impressive because by no means this wasn't some big brand. We were it's a small seller with their own brand, and it was still super accurate.
Wow. I mean, congrats on that. I mean, I know you guys have an amazing team behind, so I'm sure you were expecting that. Good. Yeah, for sure. And now, I mean, you guys have so many more tools, and I think, I mean, all of them are great. I just want to ask you, which one you think we should also be highlighting today that you say, wow, an Amazon seller should definitely use this, and this is one of the things that Datahawk does very well. Is there something else you think from the tool set that you would like to highlight today?
Yeah, really, it's two of the more recent developments with our tool. It's connections and it's intelligence, which we already mentioned earlier. Both of those together are just an absolute powerhouse. Our web app is amazing. It's really awesome. You can get all the standard stuff that we call it the blocking and tackling that you'll need on a daily basis. You can get your market analysis. You can track your organic rank, your sponsored rank, your keywords, your products, all that good stuff in there, which I think everyone's been, for the most part, has had some level of exposure to, unless you're just getting started. But with connections, that's one where once we show people, typically, and we usually show people with Power BI how to take all of these data points and start to manipulate them themselves, is I see this shift. And the shift is, you see this, Amazon seller, Amazon brand looking at things and they're kind of competing with everyone else using the same tool set. And it's almost like everyone's been trying to, put these screws into a wall by hand. And it's like I just handed them an electric screwdriver. Like they're wait a second, like, okay, here are the most important data points to me. Let me visualize it in this way. And then when I'm asking them, they're telling me, well, I can't, repeat everything everyone says, but they said, they're telling me this is why this is important to me, and this is what I'm going to do with it. And they're taking it back to their teams that are doing really well with it. So the connections part is huge. It's because, again, it's whatever you want it to be, which is a good thing and a bad thing sometimes, because if you tell somebody that, it's like handing someone a paintbrush and a canvas and saying, paint something. Not everyone's going to know what they're going to put on that canvas. But if you have an idea of, here are the main KPIs that my team is focused on, or I'm focused on, and here are the data points that are most important to me, that connections really just brings that all together and makes it this unique custom experience that really accelerates business. That's one part of it. And the intelligence part of it, on the other side of it, is, just being able to have something where you and your team can log in and look at it, and you're ready to hit the ground every single day. Like, what's my most important things that I need to focus on in order to accelerate my business? When you're seeing it in almost a list format and seeing the top things kind of given to you, that's just maximizing time efficiency. And that's something I wish someone could do with my job often. Here's the most important things for you today, Jeremiah. You focus on this stuff, everything will be fine. It's not as easy for me. So it's those two things together, I gotta say, have made us very unique. But at the end of the day, the feedback I've gotten from our customers has been phenomenal, and I've seen the light bulb pop up on their head.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, just the intelligence tool alone, I know a lot of businesses that have a whole unit division just doing that, and now you can do it with a software. You see what I mean? It's like it's a no-brainer. So I mean, it's definitely worth it, and I think you guys are doing an amazing job. So I appreciate you being here and sharing with us all these insights. I mean, I know a lot of people for sure is gonna be interested into diving deeper into the tool, getting a demo. So I would like to ask you where people can get in touch, maybe with you or with your team. Can you give us a little more information around that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, of course, datahawk.co, that's the website. We got a lot of information on there. We have a really good blog. We've got some webinars on there that you can watch the record. We actually have one coming up probably by the time this airs. It's already happened, but we got one coming up with Vincenzo, which is excellent because we have a great network of awesome people that help us. Yeah, go to datahawk.co. Booking a demo is the best way to experience it. And if you book a demo, we can actually give you a trial of our product that's custom tailored to you. You actually get to see your data in there and use it just like you paid for the subscription. For me, if you want to get in contact with me, any questions, just jeremiah@datahawk.co, pretty easy email address. Feel free to drop me a note, or you can find me on LinkedIn, Jeremiah Chambers. I think it's pretty easy to find me. There's not a lot of us.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. So, I mean, it's been a pleasure. I'm pretty sure this is gonna be the first one of many podcasts. I mean, I'm pretty sure you guys are gonna come up with a more clever ideas. So, I'm looking forward to discuss those. In the meantime, I mean, thank you, and definitely looking forward to see you again in person. Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Take care.